And so time for the drivers to begin to buckle in. You know, we just talked about Jamie McMurray a couple of minutes ago, and word comes down from NASCAR that he missed the drivers meeting.
Oh, man.
And so instead of starting in the 9th position tonight, he's going to go to the back of the field in that 88 car.
Be fun watching him come to the front.
There you go.
He's going to be mad.
A lot of work to do when the engines fire at Chicagoland next. Race 18 of the 35 race NASCAR Nationwide Series about to get underway at the Chicagoland Speedway on a splendid summer night. This is one of those races last year where the Gibbs guys, Kyle Busch and Joey Logano, went head-to-head. Logano won that one. Earlier in NASCAR Countdown, we heard Big Brad say, yeah, one of the Gibbs guys wins tonight. Question is, which one? Yes?
It's so difficult. Joey Logano was great last time we were here, but Kyle Busch hadn't been around in a while, and this feels like it's got a Kyle Busch evening to it. I just think he's going to be up front and tough to beat.
Well, I think it's going to be one of the Gibbs cars again. I really do. I mean, these guys have got this particular car so figured out. They've been running for 4 or 5 years now, and a lot of the competitors can't wait for the new car so they can probably break these guys' streak.
Hopefully.
We will find out how it plays out over 300 miles tonight. So with race 18 of 35, we're making the turn, if you will, from the front half of the schedule to the back half of the NASCAR Nationwide Series, a line on which we make the turn up to the broadcast booth, where Marty Reed, Dale Jarrett, and Andy Petrie are ready to call the race, score things as they go, maybe keep score in pencil like they do on the golf course, gentlemen.
No eraser allowed, though. Hey, let's talk a little bit about trends, Alan, because one of the interesting ones is that in the 10 prior races here, the front row, first or second, has never won this race.
Well, I think Keselowski and Harvick are hoping that doesn't apply tonight. But I think what it says is that it's qualifying and racing here are two different animals, and especially when we run this night race, I think the track is a lot different. So maybe, you know, having the fastest car in the daytime in qualifying doesn't carry over to having the best car when it comes down to the end of the race.
Yeah, well, it sounds like the guys in the pit studio are saying that trend's going to continue because they've said the Gibbs guys are going to win. But I think our points leader, Brad Keselowski, may have something to say about that here tonight.
One of the other interesting trends is that 4 times out of 10, the winner has never taken the lead until the last 50 laps or fewer.
Yeah, one thing that kind of drives that is a car can be really good most of the race, and that crew chief and team is somewhat reluctant to make changes on that car. You get out there and you lead and you say, okay, I don't think I want to mess this up, so you don't change and keep up with the racetrack. This track does change as it cools off, so that may be why that trend is in place.
Yeah, and you know, somebody that I like that bucks that trend a little bit, that's out front a lot, and we're talking about the Gibbs guys again, but Kyle Busch is not afraid to continue to work on his race car. They seem, even if they've got a 10-second lead, they're making air pressure or wedge adjustment, something to make sure that they stay ahead of their competition. We'll see how that works tonight. Sometimes it bites them, though. They make that wrong adjustment and cost them the race.
We got about 15 seconds. Going to put you on the spot. How about a first-time winner, if we have one? Trevor Bayne?
Trevor Bayne would be my pick. He's qualified up front.
Yes, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is qualified up front.
All right, let's go trackside because it's time to get race 18 underway.
Chicagoland Speedway. Please welcome Executive Vice President, Chief People Officer, Bob Ravener, as he delivers the most famous words in motorsports.
On behalf of the 80,000 employees of Dollar General, drivers, start your engines.
Crank them up, gang. Fired up. Fire it up there, bud. Go ahead and crank up here, gang. All right, buddy, you can crank it up. Crank it up. Second groove, you can see where it rubbered up. Repetition.
Well, we talked about the fact that we've had 4 different first-time winners as the 43 engines come to life down there on pit road. And our in-race reporter, could he potentially be the 5th first-time winner at Chicago? Well, let's talk to him. He's going to be on the radio with us tonight. DJ, it's all yours.
Hey, Trevor, Dale Jarrett, the ESPN. You have a copy?
One.
Let's see. He's
2, talk to me.
getting buckled. Hey, Trevor, Dale Jarrett, the ESPN. You have a copy?
I do. You got me, Dale?
I sure do, buddy. Hey, our first question tonight comes from our ESPN mailbag, and Austin in Starkville, Mississippi asks, you had some really good finishes in the current car before Daytona. How is your team prepared to regain that momentum at Chicago?
Oh man, we had a strong run at Daytona. I know the results don't show up, but we've really been building on this momentum the last few weeks. An 11th place finish, a 10th, a 5th, and then we ran top 5 there for a while at Daytona. So I really think we have a lot to build on here at Diamond Waltrip Racing. And on the bright side, man, our Toyota's good today. This Aaron's Dream Machine's been strong in practice, qualified 3rd. So hopefully this track will free up a little bit, and that'll help our tightness that we fought in practice.
Hey, Trevor, just like you said, you qualified great, but my question is, your practice was during the day. You're a young man that doesn't have a lot of experience in these cars and at these racetracks, so how do you go about adjusting, making the proper adjustment, and getting your car ready for this racetrack at night?
Well, really, since I don't have that experience at tracks like this, I just really go back to the notes from previous races. I did have the opportunity to race here last year, and I went back and looked at how the track really tightened up, and, Jerry Baxter worked with me on that, or freed up, I'm sorry. We started a little bit tight, and the car got freer as the race went on. So we ended practice a little bit tight in the center. We could never really get rid of it because the track was so greasy and the rubber was laying down. So hopefully this nighttime track, the temperatures are cooling off, and hopefully that'll just free our car up just right where we need it.
All right, Trevor, thanks for talking with us. Maybe you can be another one of those first-time winners here tonight. Now Andy's going to talk to your crew chief, Jerry Baxter.
That sounds good. Thanks, Dale.
Hey, Baxter, you got a copy? Andy Petrie in the booth.
Yeah, go ahead, Andy.
Hey, Jerry, this racetrack is notorious for having a lot of green flag runs and sometimes coming down to fuel mileage. A couple questions. Are you prepared for that? And are you preparing for that scenario? And how do you feel you're going to stack up if you do?
Well, it looks like we go about 62 laps on a tank of fuel here. That was off a practice run. Once the race gets going, you can usually, pick up a little bit more than that. So just got to keep in the back of our mind the whole time about green-white checkers and see how it all unfolds. Definitely a lot of green flag racing here, though.
All right, Jerry, if you go 62 laps, you'll be the man, I think. So good luck tonight.
All right, thanks.
All right, and our in-race reporter over the wall for us will be the rear tire changer for the 99. There he is, Lee Cunningham from nearby Forreston, Illinois. And got a question for you, Lee. We've talked about how it affects the drivers out on the track, but how does transitioning into the dark affect you guys on pit road?
We built some. We got spring rubbers in the rear springs that I can either put in or pull out, depending on what Trevor says the track's doing. And if I do that, then I'll take you along with me, and we'll either put them in or take them out. That's a pretty major adjustment. I hope we don't have to do it, but if we do, then we'll be ready.
Well, I'm noticing the adjustment you have for nighttime right on your helmet. Those lights.
You got better lights than we do in the booth, man.
I sure do. I shouldn't miss anything right here.
All right. Thanks a lot. Good luck tonight. That's the car he'll be working on throughout the 200 laps here at Chicago. And we'll go green when we come back. Speedway, where we're getting ready to go green. Let's set the starting field across the top of your screen. Also point out 4 did not qualify. Jeremy Clements, Jennifer Jo Cobb, Brian Keselowski, Kevin Hamlin. 6 to the rears, the most of the year. You already heard about Jamie McMurray missing the drivers meeting. Morgan Shepherd, Landon Castle missed driver intros. Richardson McDowell had engine changes. Johnny Chapman had illegal adjustments. Let's take a look at our onboard cameras. You already talked with Trevor Bayne. We've also got Danica Patrick, Justin Allgaier, Reed Sorensen, Kevin Harvick, Stephen Wallace, Joe Nemechek, and Jamie McMurray. Time for final reports from pit road. Jamie, you're up first.
Well, Marty, Danica Patrick is back in the field, and she has had the toughest 3 weeks of her career. She's gone back and forth from an Indy car to a stock car, from a road course to short tracks, and now she's on an intermediate track. The good news for Danica, she grew up here in Illinois, and she's been here in an Indy car. The bad news, after practice today, she said this track is completely different in a stock car. Her learning curve continues. She starts back in 28th. Doc?
Well, Jamie, keep an eye tonight on the 1 car driven by Ryan Newman. Now, Ryan has driven 3 nationwide races this year for James Finch with top 10 finishes in all 3. In fact, he's had 2 top 5s in this car he is driving tonight. Now, he's never won in Chicagoland, although he's sat on the pole twice, holds a qualifying track record, and has led the most laps in this race twice. No, by the way, today he was the fastest car in the final practice session. Dave.
Doc, tonight's race is the 7th of 9 scheduled for Jamie McMurray in the number 88 car. Now, after missing that driver's meeting today, you might wonder, how is he going to get back from the back of the field up to the front of the field? Well, twice this year in his first 6 starts, he started outside the top 20, and he drove it to a top 5. They can only hope he can do the same tonight. Vince?
Kyle Busch was runner-up to his teammate Joey Logano in this race last season, and Busch said the difference was the fact that his car was so loose going into the corners, he couldn't attack those corners and drive off. Crew chief Jason Ratcliffe said he spent all week long looking for a solution and says he found 2 or 3 items that he believes is going to make their car more secure going into the corner today. If so, Kyle Busch will be able to attack, and that may be bad news for the rest of this field and good news for the 18. Marty?
All right, thanks, Vince. Let's take a look at our race announcement.